In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It is morning time. Good morning, tribe. We are back and ready. Let me go ahead and grab my little tea kettle there on the side because I will be making myself some coffee a little bit later on. I hope that y'all are doing very well this morning. I switched it up. You see that we are going to be making some blueberry muffins. I don't know, last night I went to bed. At first it was just going to be muffins. Then I was like, you know what? I got a taste for some blueberry muffins. And I have some frozen blueberries that I've frozen in the freezer. Let me go ahead and grab my little apron. I'm going to move my little bowl here, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Y'all come right on in. I am going to be looking over there at the chat box. So if you have anything that you would like to add to the conversation, you'd like to say, please feel free to say what you got to say. I hope that y'all have had a great week. My week has, just as last week, it was honestly really productive. Very productive. Still got a lot of productive things that's going to be going on throughout the weekend, actually. But I got to make myself my blueberry muffins so that when I'm doing the things all weekend, I can have my blueberry muffins to chomp on, right? Hope y'all enjoying a little bit of jazz in the back. May need to turn it down just a little bit. I think I will. Let me turn that down just a bit. I love a little jazz music. It helps me to really just kind of concentrate. Like it doesn't always have a whole lot of words, and then the words that they do have, it really is soothing to the soul. Jazz. Shout out to all of the jazz musicians, all of those who have paved the way. And let's go ahead and get started. So if you don't already know, I have dropped the ingredients below. I like the way I said that. I've dropped the ingredients below. Instead of flour, I'm going to be using cake flour. But if all you have at your house is flour, you can use flour. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off. This is 1 3/4 cups of cake flour. So I use Swan's cake flour. Cake flour when I was growing up was actually something that we would sometimes use, but more specifically like on special occasions, when you really wanted to make it very sweet. What I like about the cake batter is I feel like it is a little sweeter than the flour. So if you really want a good sweet whatever it is that you're making, then you can actually substitute this cake flour instead of the flour. So let's go ahead and keep this thing moving. Now I'm going to add in my 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So this is actually the final of my baking powder. So measure this out. I'm going to add the rest of this in here. A little bit more. Okay, my next thing is I am going to add in my sugar. And all I need for my sugar is 1/3 cup. All right. What's the weather like where y'all at? I feel like I always do this. I probably should have this already measured out, but I don't. All right. So then that's our sugar there. I also want to add in 1/4 teaspoons of salt. And notice that I'm actually adding all of my, what did I do with my salt? There it is. I'm adding in all of my dry ingredients because y'all know how I like to do it. I'll have a bowl for my wet ingredients, and then I'll go ahead and sift in the dry ingredients. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just putting all my dry ingredients in a bowl. So I'm kind of looking over the ingredients, but skipping over some at the same time. So we have 1/4 a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And then the next thing I'm actually going to add, I think that's actually it for our dry ingredients. So now it's time to go ahead and handle our wet ingredients. And the good thing about this is it makes a perfect serving size, I think, for a small family. So it only makes about 12 muffins. You see here in the back, I have my little cavity tin. This is actually like a brownie cavity tin, I believe. So I'm going to use this for my muffins. I've already sprayed it. So I've already put a little bit of cooking oil on the inside so that it makes it easier for them to come straight out. And I just purchased this actually like I think it was Amazon. You probably can also go to the store. Sometimes when it comes to cooking products, like yes, you want to look at them online, but just like sometimes clothes, you just want to feel it. You want to touch it. You want to be there. So this is actually a really good pan that I'm going to be using. I'm going to put it back to the side. I also have already preheated my oven to 350 degrees. You can turn them up a little bit if you like. I think I might actually turn the oven up to 400 degrees when it's time for me to cook them and let them bake for about 18 to 20 minutes. Now, I am going to watch them throughout that time. That's what I got to tell you. Be sure that you watch your whatever it is that you're baking so that you know it don't overflow. So this is my egg. Like I tell many people, if you are not like confident when it comes to like cracking your egg, feel free to like put it in a little bowl, little something on the side, whip it up, and then add it into whatever it is that you're cooking, whatever requires that particular ingredient. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my egg in here. Okay, the next thing is it calls for 3/4 cups of milk. So you see I have canned milk. Canned milk works fine. You can also use whole milk. If you like, you can also use 2% milk. I don't think I would go lower than the 2% milk. But if you want a healthy option, you can also substitute maybe oat milk. I've never substituted oat milk, so I can't tell you how it tastes with that. But I can tell you that whether it's canned milk or whether it's the jug of the whole milk, I personally feel like either the canned milk or the whole milk works the absolute best. But if you try it and you substitute, let me know. Let me know. 3/4 cup. I was about to put this in here, child. Not even measuring. Don't do that, whatever you do. Now, this has a little measurements here on the inside. So that's how I'm able to determine what like 3/4 cups is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Measure that out. There we go. So this is our 3/4 cup of milk here. See if I can grab my little whip. So I can just kind of whip this up. You know, like kind of as I have it here together. I got 1/4 cup of cooking oil. That is the next thing that I'm actually going to be adding. Look, y'all, I keep all my little measuring things like over here on the side because I'm like, I know I'm going to need it. I know I'm going to need it. And this is my little pour. I love this little thing. Y'all have no idea. So this is my 3/4 cup of cooking oil. Okay. Getting that all together, whip that up. And now I'm going to start sifting in my dry ingredients. Okay. I'm just going to use one of my, what I have here on the side here. I brought out the real stuff that I need. Okay. Which is really just my handy dandy old faithful mixer that I have here. I'm going to go ahead and start adding that. So I'm a little bit more. I don't want it to overdo it. Grab my spatula that helps to support this stuff. Let's do it. Right, that makes pretty quickly. Once again, if you are just joining, I am making some blueberry muffins. My blueberries are already in the freezer. I'm going to grab those out when it's closer to time to add them into my my batter. It's really batter this time. Last time, y'all, I kept saying batter, and it wasn't batter. It was cookie dough. Okay. Get my mixer back. So excited, honestly, about these blueberry muffins. Especially the fact that they're going to be in like a brownie tin, you know. I've used that tin before, y'all, and I really love it. Really love it. It comes, anything I'm making there, it always comes out in these like little perfect squares. Mm, honey, looking good. Looking good. It looks so neat, you know. If you go to my Instagram page, I actually made some muffins with it, and then I showed you how it looked when it came out. Yeah, it was so pretty. So pretty. All right, mixing really good. Yes, whip it. Now whip it good. And I'm just gonna add the rest of that in here. Let me move this, it's getting caught up. But I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my flour and my dry ingredients right into my other clear bowl. I'm gonna put this to the side. And then I'm just gonna mix this right up. Just put the rest of it. It's mixing up so good, as you can see. And I have the mixer on very low. And I'm just mixing this around together. Okay. Now I have one more thing that I have to add, and that is my blueberries. So let me go ahead and grab those. I'm also drinking water this morning. In honor of the blueberry muffins, I put a few blueberries in my water. I know I'm that person. I feel like every time I have a drink and it's good, I'm like, oh, gotta smack a little bit, right? I put a little bit of I squeeze the lemon in here, and then I put like a little bit of lemon, but primarily it's a blueberry morning, darling. Just simple water. I love to put lemon in my water, and then any kind of fruit that I might have, maybe strawberry, something like that. I will add that too. So now I'm just grabbing my blueberries. Now these are blueberries that I actually froze. Maybe I can't remember how long ago it was, but maybe the beginning of the year. These were on sale like at the store, so I grabbed them in bulk and then I just froze them. And you can get some frozen blueberries if you want to, like out of the frozen section. It works just as good. I've used those as well. But my preference is whenever you go to the store and there are fresh fruit on sale, I like to get that in season, then freeze it, and then use it throughout throughout whatever the year that I need it. Now, what you also want to do is make sure that you put a date on here, y'all, so you know when you put it in here. That's why I couldn't tell y'all. But if I would have had a date here, I would have been able to tell you the date. And you do want to put dates on stuff in your freezer. Otherwise, how you gonna know? And don't do that whole like, who's gonna know? I mean, you gonna know when you taste it and it don't taste the same. Okay. So we need 3/4 cups of my blueberries. Let me make sure. Exactly. 3/4 cup of fresh frozen blueberries. Okay. It's like I wrote down all of these directions and then I don't even always. What is the point, Patricia? If you have not already, please be sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Feel free to like this video and also tell me if you have a different recipe that's not the recipe that I have. I'm definitely okay with that. What I love about cooking is you get an opportunity to really like experiment. with your taste buds. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my blueberries. Then I'm gonna mix that in. Put these back in the freezer. Now that I've added my blueberries, just like I did with the chocolate chips, I don't like to use my mixer when I'm mixing in whatever the fruit is, or if it's pecans, or if it's whatever. Like, I like that to be the last thing that I add, and then I'll get like a spatula, right? And then I fold it in. Yes. It looks creamy. It looks like a thick batter. Very thick. Definitely probably because I used the Swan's cake mix and substituted the flour for that. Okay. So now that I folded that in, that looks really nice here. Just moving all of my ingredients from the side, some of the dry that's still there, into the rest of the batter so that I can preserve as much of it as I possibly can. When I made cakes with my grandma as a kid, growing up, she would always scrape that pan so much, like when she was the one with the batter in it. So like if she had like a bowl like this, she would scrape it so much and get all the batter out that it was barely any for me to lick later on when I was trying to lick the batter. She also used to let me know there used to be raw eggs in the batter, so it was a little, I didn't want to eat too much of that. But you're a kid. It tastes great as a kid. The stuff that I used to eat as a child, I can't handle it as an adult. I gotta admit that. You would experiment with stuff. I'm from Texas, so we had all kind of stuff. People used to do the pickles, and then they would put the peppermint in the pickle. I tried that, but then after a while, I got tired of it. And now as an adult, I'm like, why did I do that? The peppermint in the pickle. Did anybody else do that? I'm looking for my pan and trying to talk to y'all at the same time. Did anybody else do that with like the peppermint in the pickle? Just saying. Okay, so what I did right now is I just sprayed a little bit of the Pam inside my cooking oil, basically inside of my ice cream scoop, because it makes it a lot easier for me to determine, one, how much goes into each, and so the measurement is basically equal. So let's do it. So this is 1, 2. So about 2 scoops. That's actually pretty consistent. I feel like it's like that all the time, This is a lot of batter. When I was looking at it, I don't think I thought it was as much as what it was, but this is more batter than what I thought. All right. I'm just kind of letting the batter do its own thing. So I'm not making the exact measurements, You can eye it a little bit. You can give it a little bit more if you want. Okay. Do y'all like blueberry muffins? Is it one of your favorite muffins? Do you even like muffins? This is like muffins made with like cake batter though. So it's a little bit different. These are going to be real sweet. Taste so good. And I don't think I'm going to have to worry about doing nothing but one batch. I'm not going to have to worry about 2 batches at all. Y'all have no idea how excited I am about these blueberry muffins, baby. I had dreamt about these muffins. No, it was probably about 1 a.m. When I woke up, and I thought to myself, like, I know I'm going to make muffins, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and add the blueberries in it. Oops. Not too much. 2, 1. I feel like the blueberry in there is still frozen. All right, so I did 1. Don't forget the second scoop, girl. Okay, so we got probably enough for maybe 1 more. So this is a 12 cavity tin. So this is only going to be 9 of these muffins it looks like we're going to make. I don't want to try to stretch it anymore. Man, this looks so good. Ooh. I know that's a little bit more, but that's because I can't stretch this out to do like one more muffin. So I'm like, I might as well just, I got to use my batter wisely, baby. Got to use this old batter the way you use that old batter. Use that batter. Sorry. So just because I want to make an excuse for myself, my undergraduate was in theater. So every now and then I just got to show y'all that that degree was worth it. It was worth it. Shout out to all of my alums. Shout out to those who are currently in school. If you're currently there, okay, this is like a whole nother scoop. Let me do a little bit here. All because nope, I don't want to do not one more. Not at all. Okay, so I'm forcing the batter a little bit. Let me not say forcing. I'm just kind of equaling out the batter amongst a few of our cupcakes here. I'm sorry, muffins here. Almost forgot. Come on, muffins. I'm sorry, Blueberry. I ain't thought about y'all and stuff. Okay. As much as possible. Get all of it. Think about your grandma, Trish. Think about grandma. So if y'all don't know, I actually named my KitchenAid after my fraternal grandmother. Her name is Ruby, and so I named my KitchenAid that. And she is the first person who made gumbo. Like her gumbo was the first like gumbo I believe I had tasted. Like I was a little girl, very very young, and I had went down to visit her. I maybe was like 6 or so, maybe something like that, 7. She lived in Houston. And so I went down to visit her, and we had sat at her dining room table, y'all, with a nice little table setting. You know, I sat there. She sat at the head of the table, and I sat right there. And she had a bowl. We had crack. I mean, it was so nice. So nice. Okay, so I was just wiping off the excess, but this is the way it looks here. As you can see, I have put all of my batter here. Kind of evened it out because I had a little bit of batter left over, but I didn't want to make another one, so I just equaled them out amongst a few of these. We're going to pop them in the oven. I'm going to turn it up to 375. Let me go ahead and get confident with it. And then let these stay in there for about 20 minutes. So let me do that. Okay. Now I'm going to set my timer and then wipe down my cabinets as well. This is the perfect time for me to also clean up a little bit. So y'all know, I'm just kind of cleaning it up a bit. I'm actually going to use this for a recipe for later. If you don't know, one of my go-to recipes in like the last maybe like 4 or 5 years is really, I'd say spaghetti and macaroni. Like those are like some of my like easiest like go-to meals. I do not know what I did with my dish towel, but I don't know where it's at. So right now I'm just gonna have to use this as like all purpose for like everything. All right. Okay, so now that I've done that for a couple of minutes, let's go ahead and set the timer for real. I'd say let's do 15. You think 15? Let's start off with maybe 15 minutes, and then I'll add the extra 5 just because I kind of been chatting a little bit. Take a sip of water. Go ahead and put Old Faithful back If you're just joining me, I am making blueberry muffins this morning. Blueberry muffins. I'm using actually cake um, flour instead of using just regular flour. Okay, but it works just the same if you use regular flour. But the difference is, if you use cake flour, it's a little bit sweeter. All right, but if you don't want that sweetness, because everybody don't have that. Everybody don't want to have that. Okay. But when it comes to the sweetness, if you really don't want it to be too sweet, because it already has sugar in it, if you don't want it to be too sweet, make sure that you just use regular flour, okay? But if you use cake flour, I'm here to let you know it's going to be sweet. It's going to be sweet, 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 sweet. And don't try to eliminate the sugar in order to, no, don't do that. I say just use regular flour and do it that way. Okay, so I also am gonna make myself a little bit of some coffee this morning. I have a coffee press. Now I used to have a actual coffee maker, but I think having a coffee maker was too much. Like I was wasting too much coffee, especially if you're the only person that drinks, coffee in your house. It may be more of a waste if you have one, if you have a pot. Now, at one point in time in my life, I have to admit to you that I was drinking almost a whole pot of coffee a day. So at one point in time, I was good to go. But that was probably fresh out of undergraduate. I don't drink coffee as much now as what I used to. But when I do make it at home, I try to make it a little bit special if I possibly can. So let me grab out some ingredients that I use. Grab the milk bag. Got me some French vanilla. This is my favorite to add. Gotta grab the coffee and then my coffee press. Press. Speaking of press, I'm sure that if you have been following a little bit of the entertainment news, you have heard that Miss Cardi B has won her case against YouTuber Tasha K. Now, Tasha K is appealing and all that good stuff, but congratulations, Cardi, on your win. Okay, so one of the things that I also realized is someone gave me a really good tip, and it was you want to do your coffee press. I have my little tea kettle here that's all filled with my warm, hot water, not just warm, it's hot. So I'm going to fill this up until 4 cups. Actually, I'm sorry. It's actually going to be 6 cups. You see here, there's like a little measuring tool that tells you exactly. And it depends on how you like your coffee. If you like it strong, you got to think about that. Just read the back and it'll tell you exactly how much to put in. I actually did read that one. For Kool-Aid, I don't read the package. For everything else, I try to be obedient. Okay. So someone taught me a trick, and that is to let it just kind of like, I guess the coffee grains is what I was trying to find, and I couldn't find it, but I found the word. But the coffee grains, you're gonna let those kind of rise to the top a little bit, but kind of let this set for maybe like a minute or two. And during that time, that'll really allow, I guess, the coffee to just kind of like, have a stronger flavor and infusion. I tried to explain that in a very nice way, but you know what I mean. It just kind of lets it just kind of sit there for a while. So I'm gonna give it like a minute or two to do its thing, sip on my water, but also grab my containers that I want to use. So I personally want a hot coffee and I want an iced coffee. So I'm gonna make my hot coffee first. Because my hot coffee is easier. Oh, let's do this one. My future is calling. And I must go. Do y'all have any mugs that really just help to like, sometimes like motivate you on like another level? So yeah, that's what this does. it helps to motivate me just on another level. Just another level. All right. So, let me also grab my little cup for my iced coffee. All right. So this here's for my iced coffee. Add some ice to it. I don't have any whipped cream today, but if you have whipped cream at your house, let me tell you. If you have some whipped cream, it just really sets it off on another level if you just put it right on top. Okay. So now that I've kind of let my little grains do its thing, my little coffee grains. Now I'm just gonna press it down. All the way. Bam, there we go. We got our coffee. Special shout out to Maya Angelou. She is officially on a coin. What? Took forever. We finally got somebody black on a coin, so I'm excited for that. Shout out to Maya. May you rest in peace. Maya Angelou. Oh, I love Maya. I know why the cage bird sings. I read a lot of her work specifically when I was like in 8th grade. Her, Langston Hughes. I did a few prose and poetry pieces when I was in school. So I loved specifically Langston Hughes. He had this series of like Madam poems that I really loved. And there was a project that we had to do when I was in 8th grade. And I did that project. And my 8th grade teacher at the time asked me if I would do oral reading. And so I went on to win like 2nd place that year in like oral reading competition. But I love Maya Angelou, Langston. I mean, all of those people specifically from like that the Harlem Renaissance time as well. Like, you know, all of them. Like, y'all, such an epic period, right? So this is my hot coffee, by the way. If you want to use a shot glass, to help you, like, you know, with the measurements, you can. So I'm going to use this little glass kind of like as my little shot glass because I like to put in a couple of shots of this. Okay, so that's 1, 2. Now I only measure it for this hot coffee. For this one, I just kind of pour it. I do add a lot, I have to admit to you, like a lot. If you have a little bit of caramel or maybe even some chocolate, you can always add a little bit of that in there as well. I don't typically do it. I'm very simple when it comes to my coffee. The only thing that I really get particular about is like adding whipped cream on the top. That's the only thing that I'm like, man, I wish I had my whipped cream today. So yes, this is my little hot coffee. I'll just put this over here to the side. And then we have, let me add a couple more ice cubes. I love to see people make their coffee. They get really like kind of fancy with it, you know. I also like to have a little bit of milk in my iced coffee as well. Just a little bit, not too much. When I was younger, I actually used to work at a hobby airport in Houston. So I worked at Hobby Airport in Houston for a summer. It wasn't for long. It was for like a whole summer. And during that summer, I was like a little coffee barista. So I would like make these little coffees and things for people at like this little it was a magazine stand, and they would come over to our area, and we were like the mini Starbucks in that particular location. So it was nice. It was nice. Very fun. I got an opportunity to meet artist Lil Flip. He had come through the airport and he had bought a couple of things, and he actually said, keep the change. So when he was, we don't take tips, by the way, but he was like, keep the change, and he had already basically walked off. So I don't remember how much it was, but it was a good amount to be able to say, like, keep the change for areas that didn't take tips. So I was very, impressed. So let me taste this real quick. I got one of these little metal straws that I want to use, but it's not colorful. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. Okay. Just in case you don't know, that's Still I Rise. That's like a little bit of Still I Rise from Maya Angelou. Like, oh, Maya. She's such a wise woman. Oh, yes. This is perfect. Okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge for later. I'm going to put a little bit of, I got a lot of stuff in my fridge, so let me put a little bit of plastic over this. I still want to keep my straw. Put a little bit of some plastic right here over it. That way, it kind of protects it in the refrigerator, Nothing drop in it. Hello, somebody. You can also bend the straw down a little bit. That way I don't have to get another one later on. Everything is good to go. Ta-da! It's ready. So I actually have something planned for later on this afternoon. And I'll probably just kind of sip on that before I go. So it says I have about 2 minutes. I'm just going to check on my muffins and see what they're looking like. Oh, they're looking good. They're smelling better. I'm going to turn my oven light on so I can visually see it a little bit more. That works out really good. So it says we have about 2 minutes left on those. So I'm going to let it do its thing, and I'm actually going to take any questions that y'all may have in the chat box. I'm making, as I told you earlier, blueberry muffins. If you have not had a chance, this is a great time for you to either like this video or subscribe to my channel. This is the weekend dish. It's just a cooking series that I have sharing with you some of the recipes I make in everyday life. If you want to know what the recipe is, I've actually put it down below so you can see it in the description box. Take a little sip of my coffee, see what it tastes like. Yup. It's tasting so good. It's tasting so good. This also really makes me want some blueberry pancakes, and I have some pancake mix actually. So I'm actually going to grab that out, and I'm going to get that together so that I can have blueberry pancakes a little bit later on. So I have a big thing of pancake mix. Got my bowl here. Grabbing this and some scissors because I need to open this. If you cannot tell, I do like to buy things when I do buy them in bulk. I'm definitely a bulk buyer. This is one of those things where you can just kind of look right there on the back. It tells you that if you want 5 to 6 pancakes, you only need 1 cup of mix and then about 2/3 cups of water. And so that's all I'm going to need right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in my 1 cup of mix so that it's ready for later. Luckily, I have another measuring cup. There we go. That's about a cup right there. Then I have my water. And then this is batter that I'm just kind of pre-making so that when it's time for me to eat breakfast a little bit later in the morning, all I got to do is put it together. So it said 3/4 cups of water. I just poured a little bit of this like from the fridge. And then I'm also going to be adding in my blueberries as well. I'm gonna do about half a cup because I have a cup of the batter. My timer should be going off in a minute. Okay. Mix this all together using my spatula, or my spoon, whatever I can get up out of there. So this is just my pancake mix. I'm going to be having some pancakes later. I'm just kind of going, I guess today is like a blueberry theme, okay? It's a blueberry theme Saturday. Also, happy Saturday, y'all. It is Saturday, January the 29th, 2022. And if you don't know, now you know. All right. Then I'm going to add in my blueberries. I'm also going to add in a little bit more water. Actually, let me do a little bit of milk instead. Just a little bit. I know. That ain't what the recipe said. But that's one of the fun things about cooking. Hello. All right. I'm going to also still add a little bit more, maybe water later on if I need to. But these are some nice, thick pancakes, blueberry, real quick. Just made that up. Yep. And I can put this to the side so that I can have some blueberry pancakes for later. Okay, I love it. Perfect. I'm going to grab a little bit of plastic for this too, put it over it. And then that way it can sit to the side and in the fridge. I don't know if I told y'all, but I really do love doing a lot of like pre-prep stuff, just because it makes it easier later on, and it makes me look forward to sometimes, making the food. If you're a person that really does like a lot of fresh food, because I think that's the deal with some people. It's like, I don't want leftovers because like I want my food fresh. I've also been there where I felt that way before, where I'm like, this is not a leftover day. I don't even want leftovers. I want my food fresh on a daily, consistently. In fact, I need a private chef. But until I'm able to get my private chef, I'm going to chef it myself. Even when I get a private chef, I want them to show me how to like, give me some tricks in the kitchen of like what to do and some tips, right? We know the pandemic, of course, has changed and shifted a lot of stuff. But that also kind of, changed the way we sometimes interacted, like in and out of our homes with individuals who maybe did the upkeep, maybe the gardeners, maybe the babysitter, maybe your personal chef, right? If they were exposed, they probably couldn't come, and do anything like at your house. So maybe you did have to either eat out or figure something else, right? But if you know a few tips and tricks in the kitchen yourself, then you can just kind of step right in, get you some shrimps, make yourself some shrimp tacos, make yourself some blueberry muffins, oatmeal cookies, whatever it is that you want, macaroni and cheese, whatever you want, you can start making it at the house yourself. Someone on Instagram asked me, do I ever eat out? And I have to say, of course, yes, I do eat out. I think it's just part of my upbringing, just kind of growing up as a kid. I had an opportunity to really just eat at home all the time. Like, we didn't eat out a lot because, one, we weren't close to town. We actually lived in a small town, but then lived in the country of that small town. So in terms of access to places to eat, that was like, super popular. Yes, like, whatever, it's a few of the typical fast food chains were there, but it really wasn't, a lot of like in-depth, food all the time that you could access. Even when you could access it, right? And maybe there was restaurants that was, really good. They would close early, right? They close at 7:00. Sometimes I want something specifically on the weekends a little bit later than that. Through the weekday, okay, but like on the weekend, that's when I'm like, I need like 10 p.m. It ain't no telling what's going on with my life. So it may be midnight, and I'm like, it's time to eat. Like, let's find something, right? All right, so I'm looking at my muffins and we are close to being done. But we are definitely, we're not there yet. So as I did last time when it comes to, muffins and the role that they play in my life, I have to say that muffins was just a recipe that someone gave me. So I had someone that gave me a recipe for muffins a long time ago. I kept that recipe, used it a couple of times, and then started to just change it a little bit like as I went. And the main change that I made was instead of using regular flour, I actually use cake flour because it makes it taste a little bit sweeter. Okay. There's also a streusel topping that goes on top, and I can actually do that here to the side. I'm not gonna put it on until they come, of course, like out of the oven and kind of cool off just a little bit. Let me tell you though the instructions and also remind you of the ingredients. As a reminder, the ingredients is below, so you should be able to check that out in the description box. My ingredients is 1 3/4 cups of the cake flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 beaten egg, 1/4 cup of cooking oil, 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cups of milk, and also the directions. So I basically greased my little cavity tin. So whatever cavity tin that you want to use, you can use some muffin cups if you want to. That's probably the more typical thing. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. Plus, y'all always compliment me on my Instagram of how the little like brownie cavity things that I make, muffins or whatever, make come out. So I just wanted to kind of show you something live of what it looked like. In a medium bowl, what you're going to do is you're going to combine all of the ingredients. The way I do it is I like to put all of my wet ingredients together, then my dry ingredients together, and then I'll sift in the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. Okay. In terms of directions, if you want them not necessarily Patricia's way, in a medium bowl, you're just going to combine the flour, the sugar, the baking powder, and the salt. You'll make a well kind of in the center of the flour, and then you'll set that aside. In another bowl, that's where you're actually going to combine the egg and the oil as well as the milk. You're going to then add the egg there, mix it all together, and then stir until it's moistened. You'll see that the batter will be a little bit lumpy, but that's exactly the way it's supposed to look. Then you want to spoon in the batter and then put it into your muffin tins. So what I did is I don't use the spoon. I typically will use a ice cream scoop. Now this is a big one. This isn't the one I use. The one that I use is over there. But I'll use like an ice cream scoop because I feel like it's just perfect for measuring them out. Then you bake in the oven on 400 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes. So I actually put mine on 375. So that's probably what's taking them a little bit longer. But I don't like to rush my baking stuff just because I've run into problems when I've tried to rush it. So anytime I see a recipe that will tell me like, cook it at this degree, sometimes I'll do a little bit lower and then think about setting your timer maybe like 5 extra minutes to kind of give them time to bake, but also be sure to look at them back and forth. So I'm one of those people, like it may say 20 minutes, but I'm still gonna be checking up just to make sure. Okay, so let me check out the muffins, see where we are with that. I added my blueberries as well into the fold of things. Remember, you can use fresh blueberries or you can use frozen blueberries. I actually ended up using fresh blueberries. I had bought them at the store earlier in the year, froze them myself. If you do freeze them, y'all make sure that you put the date on them so that you know when you put them in the freezer so they're not there too long. You just got to kind of keep those things in mind. What I also like about this recipe is it's small. So it's not a recipe that like feeds like a whole lot of people. So if you have a small household or maybe it's just you, then this recipe is perfect, baby. Okay, y'all. I'm looking at them. Gotta check on them and see what they looking like. I think so. All right, we are fresh and hot. Right here, we got our muffins. Blueberry, right there. It looks like if I had a 12 cavity tin, I would have used that instead. But this is what I had, so this is what I use. Sometimes you just got to use what you got. You got to use what you got. They are still gonna brown just a little bit, even though they're like out of the oven. As soon as they cool a little bit more, I'm gonna try to see what I can do about taking them out. Y'all know how I do. I'm in front of y'all, so I'm like, I want to show you what. They're lightly grabbed. I like to grab this one. You don't want to get them out while they're hot. I'm just trying to get them out while we're hot because we're live and I want to show y'all what they look like, okay? But you do want to let these kind of cool off for a little bit, like on the side. You can also substitute blueberries for something else, so maybe you don't want blueberries. You can always use a different fruit if you like, okay? I had a taste for the blueberry muffins. That's why I was like, baby, I'm about to get these blueberry muffins. Pop it. There we go. Got it. I got it. Oh. Alrighty. So this is the blueberry muffin. I want to open it up on the inside. I also want to put a little bit of butter on the top. Like, I don't know what it is. Let me grab some butter. I have a little bit here. It's not that melty, though. So I may have to do this a little bit different. Put a few little dabs of butter on top of each one of these. Just let it soak around a little bit. If my butter was melted, I would have, just use something to bring the butter out and just kind of like layer it over the top. Just like I did with my cornbread, if you saw that one. When I did my cornbread, I did that. But right now, I'm just going to take a piece of butter and put it on top of it. And then I want to show you, I want to gloss it up. It's like the lip gloss for like the top of it. Okay. Right, just taking that there. And remember, they will look and come out a little bit differently if you use a muffin tin, okay, a different one. I also want to open this up. Oh my gosh, it's so warm. I just want to open it up because I want to see what it looks like. Make sure that the inside is done, good to go. Yes, that looks great. Look at that. A little bit of the blueberry, a little bit of a gap on the inside of it. Really cakey, sweet. Yes. It's a little warm, y'all. And if you wanted to, it's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be. So if you honestly wanted to, if I wanted to add a little bit more sugar to this, I could too. Tastes really good. Really good. Okay. So y'all, this is my blueberry muffins. Homemade. Note that it will, okay, let me not put that back in there. Note that it will turn out a little bit differently if you put them in like the little cupcake tins, okay? But they are to be baked in the little cupcake tins. I just love these, and I also wanted to just kind of show y'all live what it looks like when you make stuff in the cavity of these. On my Instagram, y'all seem to really love it. So, y'all can talk and eat at the same time. So yes, I wanted to be able to show y'all that. Thank y'all again for tuning in with me live this Saturday as we made some blueberry muffins. I hope that y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, all you got to do in order to complete this recipe, if you don't like blueberries, is remove the blueberries from the recipe. All right. If you want to use flour instead of cake flour, you can also do that. I just use cake flour for my component of the recipe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And then also be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, so that you never miss an episode. Next month, it looks like we are in February. So it looks like Valentine's is coming up. We got Black History Month coming up. So I am so excited to be sharing whatever I have for the month of February. with that being said, I will see y'all later, and I'll see you next time. I'm actually probably going to head over to my Instagram, go live, finish up some stuff, and talk to some peeps. All right. See y'all later. Bye.